Hi, my name is Brittany. Thank you for joining me on my channel. If you don't know, I am an MFA student at Lindenwood University where I am studying creative writing. And this week I started my thesis term, which essentially means I have 16 weeks to write a book. It's not a full-length novel, but essentially 75 to 100 pages of prose. And I thought it would be fun to do some vlogs to accompany my vlogs. So if you want to follow along with it in a written form, I'm planning to post blogs on my website, which is brittannywritesbooks.com. There will be a link in the description. But I also thought it'd be fun to just sit down and kind of do a little video blog. I'm filming this on Thursday, and I have to turn in the first 25 to 35 pages of my thesis on Sunday, or by Sunday night. So yeah, that's Toodles. This is Toodles, and she wanted to be involved. Say hello. Say hello to YouTube. Say goodbye to YouTube. So, the book takes place in Southern Illinois in the 1990s, in a fictional town, and the story starts with a murder. Two popular kids are murdered at like a Lover's Lane kind of location, and one of them has a little brother named Tommy, who is the one to find the bodies. And he's in the police station being questioned because only witness. Now Tommy doesn't have an alibi. He can't say who was with him, but he needs to prove his innocence. And so Tommy, he becomes sort of obsessed with this idea that it couldn't have been human. It was like a monster. And so there's kind of this running theme of Tommy thinks it's Bat Boy, he thinks it's Mothman, he thinks it's Bigfoot, all these things that Tommy's obsessed with, and he wants to find this monster he's convinced has come to the town. On the other hand, you have the detective's daughter and stepson who are trying to track down a serial killer. They think that it's a serial killer that's doing these killings, and that's what they're doing. And these two things intersect and converge, and it's kind of them chasing the same person or thing. So Tommy also has the subplot of him and his boyfriend, and his cousin who's a nurse, and so she's kind of in the midst of all this with her access to the morgue and medical records and things like that. And so it's very fun to write the scary stuff. I'm quite a fan of that, but I've never written it long form before. I've written short horror stories, and those have been a lot of fun, and I really love horror. The book is inspired by different media. I'm a huge fan of Stranger Things, which is definitely a horror nostalgia kind of vibe. I also really liked the Fear Street movies, and I grew up on R.L. Stine. Big Goosebumps fans. And I also have been really into Stephen King, and those kinds of vibes. Also, video game wise, Supermassive Games. They have Until Dawn and The Quarry and Dark Pictures Anthology. And I like those kinds of horror things. I really like whenever it gets psychological as well. So those are all kinds of influences. Those are media that I've consumed a lot of in my time in college that have heavily inspired the desire to do this. I also know the Monster Professor if you've listened to that podcast, he was my mentor during community college, and I've kept in touch with him, and he has also been a huge help in driving me to follow my interests in horror and monster fiction. And it's very interesting because when I was in undergrad, people would say, you won't be able to do genre fiction in grad school, and it's focused on literary fiction. And I don't know if it's just my school or if it's everywhere. There is such a focus on genre fiction here. And I'm very grateful for that. I mean, I've taken classes on monster fiction and sci-fi, and it's a very cool thing to study how we can use horror to discuss the world around us. So that's something I'm very excited to pursue. So I'm gonna show you my inspiration board, and then I'm gonna go back to writing because I need to submit 25 to 35 pages of this thesis by Sunday night. So okay, so to point stuff out, I'm going to be using this ghost face knife that my girlfriend painted me for Christmas. Up here is the name of the book and the description. Obviously, don't really need that. Kind of put it there for pictures. I printed out some newspaper clippings. I think these are things that Tommy would have had. That one's about Mothman, and then this one's about Batboy. Illinois postcard from the 70s, which story's based in the 90s, but that was the best I could find. This is an old, like, vintage pin. This isn't actually a pin. I printed it out, but it's like a pin from the 90s, because Tommy and Demi are very gay. I've got some avatars of characters I made. I'll put the link to the avatar maker that I used in the description as well. This is Tommy. His brother is murdered and he's trying to solve it. That's Demi. That's Tommy's boyfriend. Lane, who is Tommy's ex-girlfriend and the daughter of the main detective. And that's Sloane, who is Tommy's older cousin, who kind of watches out for him and takes care of him. And then I'm really excited to show this off. My little brother, he's in junior high, and he drew this for me based off a description of my monster. And I just absolutely love it, and we photoshopped that. Yeah. So I'm gonna go try and finish these 25 to 30 pages, and pray for me, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.